Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the ChaddyTheChump channel, and today we are going to be talking about the return of my pound for pound number one, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time in a lot of people's opinion and mine, and that is Alexander Usyk. He is back and he's in an interesting fight, and a kind of fight that, is sort of being ridiculed and all of this and all of that. He's fighting former kickboxer Rico Verhoeven. An interesting fight. We're going to talk about it. Of course, on paper, the mismatch. Is it really? Let's talk about it. So, the long-awaited return of Alexander Usyk. Right, last fight was against Daniel Dubois in this fight right here, and that was a brilliant performance from him. Of course, beat Tyson Fury twice before that, and really, those fights cemented his legacy. This fight, however, will not cement his legacy. He's fighting Rico Verhoeven, former kickboxing world champion, probably one of the best kickboxers. I don't watch kickboxing, right? But I would say, yes, he's probably one of the best kickboxers of all time. I mean, maybe, comment down below if you watch kickboxing, if you disagree with me on that. Heavyweight kickboxer, but kickboxing isn't boxing, right? Because you don't use your legs. And also, there's a lot more competition in boxing than there probably is in kickboxing, right? So, of course, Rico, massive underdog. And, of course, there's a reason for that. Because Rico Verhoeven, in his second professional fight, isn't fighting a world-level fighter. He's fighting the elite-level champion, the best heavyweight right now, in his second fight, and that is just crazy to me. But it's it's going to be a spectacle, and I think that's mainly what it's for, right? Do I wish it was a better fight, a GKBL, right? Or maybe, I don't know, I guess if this fight wasn't the fight, then maybe it would have been Fabio Wardley, maybe. But of course he lost the title. Maybe it would have been Joseph Parker. But obviously they've picked Rico Verhoeven. And I guess Usyk kind of wanted a nicer fight going into it, because I'm sure a GKBL, that could have been the fight. It could have. But Usyk has picked this one. I'm not going to go off on Usyk, right? I'm not going to go off on him. I'm not going to start saying, oh, Usyk's a duck. He's not a duck. I mean, you cannot call two-time undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, who still holds every belt bar in the WBO, a duck. You just can't do it. He holds all the belts. He is the guy, right? And not fighting the GKBL, I don't think is, a massive, sin, really. I just think it would have been better for boxing fans than this, because I'm going to be real, Usyk wins, and he wins by however he wants. Maybe if Rico Verhoeven doesn't really come to fight, he won't get knocked out. If Rico Verhoeven does come to fight in any way, Usyk will knock him out. Usyk probably will want to take it a few rounds, but let's be real, there is more chance of Jake Paul beating Anthony Joshua than there is Rico Verhoeven beating Alexander Usyk, and I'm 100% serious when I say that, because this is the ultimate mismatch. Really, it's more of an event than it is a fight, right? It's in the pyramids of Giza, right? All that. Very cool. I'm looking forward to it. Undercard's pretty solid. Got some good fights on there, which we'll talk about. However, this fight is just, it's Alexander Usyk, and he's main evented, and he's taking a nice fight. And it's not his last fight, and I'm glad of that. I think there's two more, Usyk has said. So whether that be maybe a Tyson Fury, I mean, I don't think they'll run Usyk v Dubois 3, or whether it's Ajit Kamel in those fights, who knows. But this is just a nice one for Alexander Usyk, and I'm not going to disrespect it, I'm not, but I'm just going to say the facts, and that is that Rico Verhoeven has no chance in beating Alexander Usyk. Okay, now let's talk about the co-main event, which is the returning Hamza Shiraz taking on Alen Begic for the vacant WBO super middleweight strap, which was vacated by Terence Crawford after he retired. Now Shiraz is back. I'm looking forward to his return. Right, it's been a bit of a while since we last saw him. It was July of last year when he knocked out Edgar Berlanga in 5 rounds, and now he gets his world title shot against Alen Begic, who's not really the toughest of guys to fight for the world title. Begic hasn't fought in a while. His last fight was April of last year, so 13 months out of the ring. That will probably play a toll, and he's not quite fought the level of opponents that Hamza Shiraz has fought, and therefore I am going to predict that Hamza Shiraz does get the victory. It could even be by knockout, but I'm excited for the return. Hamza Shiraz, great, I'm saying prospect, but this is a world title fight in the heavyweight division. I'm looking forward to his future fights. Hopefully, he does win this. I'll definitely be rooting for him. And, Queensbury fighter, there's big things for Hamza Shiraz if he gets through Alen Begic, and I'm predicting that he will. Another British fighter coming back on the undercard is Jack Catterall as he takes on Giyasov. Jack Catterall, he's back. This fight for the WBA regular title, so not the world one yet, but if you win the regular, you're surely eventually going to get a shot at a world title. Catterall, he's been gunning for the world title for a while, and he finally sort of is building it up now. Giyasov, of course, always going to be a dangerous fighter, but it's similar to the Shiraz fight, where I think the level of opponents that Catterall's fought is much better than the level Giyasov's fought. And, Catterall's performance last time out against Deco Asuman, very good performance. Obviously, he lost to Barboza before that, which wasn't a good performance, and this is why I don't think it's going to be as decisive as the Shiraz fight, because Catterall could get outboxed, but he is a good technical boxer, Catterall, so I think he will do this. Of course, the landscape is very different, so who knows, it might be hot. Hopefully there's air conditioning there for the Brits, who probably aren't used to it as much. But, with that being said, I do think Jack Catterall will win this fight, and again, I will be rooting for him. Now let's head over to the last fight on the main card. And now the last fight we're going to talk about is Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres. Heavyweight fight, IBF World Title Eliminator. When they're going to get that shot, if Usyk holds on to it, I do not know. It probably might be a while. There's been, a whole saga with this IBF Eliminator. I think about, 5 Summit fighters all rejected the IBF Eliminator. I think Itoma got offered it. I think Dubois even got offered the IBF Eliminator. I know took it, but I think it was Frank Sanchez finally took the fight. Or was it Torres? I'm not sure, because there was this Dubois v Torres v Sanchez, which could have happened. But it's finally happening. Who wins? It's a close one. But I am going to go with Frank Sanchez for this one. I think the power will play a factor, and Sanchez has a good amount of power compared to Torres, and it is the heavyweight division. So unless Torres tries to box, tries to move, then I think Sanchez will get the better of him with the power, probably win by knockout, but we will see. But overall, a very interesting card in the Pyramids of Giza. The setup is going to be pretty crazy. Of course, the main event, a mismatch. Who knows what happens on the night, but I do think I know. And I would, it'd be the biggest shock in boxing if Rico Verhoeven was to win. But I'm looking forward to it. A good Ring Magazine card. But guys, thank you for watching this video. Enjoy the fights, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.